there are these amazing pajama pants that I have. The only downside is they're so freaking thin that you can really see the outline of things. And, you know, you go to answer the door. It's not like I'm embarrassed because I'm like, hey, it's me. I'm like, what's up?
They're like, I know.
Yeah, I do know what's up. Yes. Hey, welcome back to All In with Rick Jordan. I'm Rick Jordan, and here we are together. Today is going to be an interesting episode because I just have things on my mind. You know, I don't really come into these with notes. If you're ever in the studio with me or you're ever on my show at some point, with some of you maybe at some point in time, that would be really cool. Come out, meet me, hang out in the studio, drop down an episode or so, 2, 3, 4, whatever. I have stuff on my mind and I'm just going to talk about it today. That's really how it's going to go because I'm getting ready for this big event, right? And there's a lot going on, so many moving pieces. And the timeline is compressed because of how this came about. There's a whole lot of backstory that sometime I might tell you if my producer ever gets me to drink while I'm recording one of these shows. Maybe we'll do that someday. That would be fun. And then I'll just let it all out. Not that I don't anyways, because I'm always giving the straight truth. I'm always giving the one thing. This event has been... Everyone asks, how's it going? You know, because I've got so many great friends in this, like Kevin Harrington and Steve Sims and Steve Weatherford and Colin Wayne and just Naveen Jain and Brad Lee, and the list goes on. And they've all become really good friends over the past couple of months. And they're all in. And they want to see this thing just skyrocket, this amazing movement. So everyone asks me, I was just talking to one of my speakers the other day who's actually become like a brother to me, Rondi Lambeth, and he was asking me, he's like, hey, how's it going, man? And so I'm telling him, I'm diving into the stats and everything, and he's like, no, how are you? And then I just sat down. You know, I was actually on the bike, on an exercise bike, and I slowed my pace. And I said, dude, this is so incredibly stressful. It's every single day I want to just give up. I want to just throw the towel in. I want to be done because it would be so much easier. And then there's a short pause and I say, but I just can't. There's just something inside of me that keeps pulling me forward. And there's a concept I'm going to talk about today about putting yourself into situations that will pull you forward. But first I'm going to talk about this giving up thing, right? Because if you look at my Instagram, if you look at the cars that I drive, if you look at the house that I live in, if you look at the watches that I wear, if you look at the clothes that I wear, from an outward appearance, it's like, man, this dude is really successful. He's got such amazing wisdom, and every single podcast, every single social clip, every single Instagram story, there's just such good nuggets on there that I can take and use today and use in my life. So I'm going to look up to this guy. Well, today is kind of peeling back the layers a little bit and telling you there are days, most days, not just with this event coming up, but most days to where there are times, even multiple times during the day, to where it's, I want to be done. I want to just give up. I want to stop. Because the pressures are insane. There's one thing I've noticed about myself over the past many years of business, the past many years of launching new things, because I've been in business now. I started 12 years ago. That's a story that's in another episode, one of the first episodes. It's when I was fired from my last job, I worked for somebody else, laid off, whatever, division eliminated. That's when I started freelance consulting. But prior to that, I was still involved as a pastor in a lot of churches, and I helped launch 3 very successful churches. I typically handled all the business side of those and the music, and I spoke, I preached, whatever you want to call it. And I've been doing this new stuff, this new thing stuff, starting new things, launching new things, growing things for about 20 years now. And every single time you want to do something like that, you will always hit walls. And I'm not talking like every month. I'm not talking every year. I'm not talking every weekend. I'm talking every day you will hit walls. And you'll just want to say, I'm done. It would be so much easier if I could just say, you know what, I'm just going to go work for somebody else, or if I'm just not going to take this stress on in my life because it just doesn't feel good. There's a lot of other things that I could do that I could probably maybe be a little bit happy doing these things and maybe feel a little bit fulfilled. But every day for me, that happens. Several times a day, that happens when I feel like I just want to be done. But I keep on. I keep moving forward. I always have the end in sight. What keeps me moving? What keeps me going? First and foremost, is always the people that are going to benefit from what I'm doing, the people that I'm serving. Yeah, it's going to make me money. Yeah, I'm successful. Yeah, a lot of things pull in good dollars to support my family, to advance myself in life, to start making good investments, to set myself up for the future so that there's no stress from a financial perspective. Yes, all that is there and all that is good, but what keeps me moving forward, because I could do all of that crap elsewhere. I could make a good amount in a 401k. I could put money away as an employee somewhere else. I could put money away into some kind of investments making me 6% a year. I could invest into somebody else's venture. I know people that buy apartment buildings and they say, hey, I can make 12% a year if I just put some money into that. Yeah, that's cool. That 12% is actually pretty freaking good in an investment, especially if it's guaranteed back in 5 years. That's not a long-term investment. That's a pretty short-term investment with a good return. I could make money and accomplish a lot of things for myself doing something else, but I can't because I need to accomplish things for other people. That's what keeps me going and why I can never give up, and I just keep moving forward and chugging along, and I can't stop. I won't stop. It sucks sometimes. It's difficult. It's hard. I'm going to talk to you about a concept here because when I feel like I'm stagnant or I'm missing something in my life, it's usually because I'm not putting myself into situations that will pull me forward. In this conference that I'm putting on, which is amazing, Jordan Belfort, the real Wolf of Wall Street, is going to be doing a keynote, opening up the event on the very first day. Just a crazy amount of really amazing, cool, world-changing people are going to be here. And this was really tough to pull off in just a short period of time. What took 7 months took me and my team 1 month to put this thing together. They're amazing people, extremely talented, but most of all, there's this mindset of there is no stopping. There is no quitting. You keep going. Does this mean that we don't slow down? You know, if you talk to some of my team members, yeah, they feel that way about me. And they even ask my wife, Jana, does he ever stop? Does he ever rest? She's like, well, yeah, he does. You know, he'll turn on Netflix late at night. That's what I do to wind down. 45 minutes at the end of the day, whatever. I might grab a glass of scotch. Squirrel! Just to chill. And then I go to bed, and then I'm back at it as soon as I wake up. I don't stop in that aspect, but I do take time to rest. Here's what I do. Here's my secret that I'm going to give you. I put myself in situations that are difficult, that are hard. That's intentional that I put myself in these situations. Why? Because I know that deep down inside, here's a little internal secret about Rick Jordan. I am lazy AF. That's just who I am. I would rather be sitting on the couch doing nothing. This is just how my makeup is, right? I would rather be sitting in a movie theater, just watching movies all day long, eating some popcorn, being super fat, not working out, because that takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, and a lot of discipline to continuously do that, to continuously stay in shape. I know, because I was there before. I used to be 80 pounds heavier. It was discipline. It was hard work that got me to where I'm at right now and not quitting. But how I do that to make sure that I can overcome my own laziness, my own lack of drive on occasions, is I put myself intentionally into situations that will pull me forward. So am I working? Yes. Am I driving this thing forward? Yes. Am I running after that end result? Yes. Am I putting the effort in day after day, hour after hour? Yes. But when you put yourself intentionally into hard situations, that situation tends to pull you forward because now you give yourself no choice but to succeed. No choice but to keep going. There is no option to quit because you intentionally designed this scenario so that you cannot quit, that you cannot be lazy, because the consequences are too drastic if you were to. You're saying, well, that's kind of crazy talk, Rick. Why would you do that to yourself? Because that's the secret, guys. That's what you have to do. You have to craft these circumstances in your life, whether that's a new job that you've never done before, whether that's a new business that you've never started, whether that's cutting the rope, burning the net, chopping down that bridge so that you can't go back to where you were, that you have no option but to move forward. Then you have designed this situation, this circumstance in your life, or this vision, this goal that you have, so that it will pull you forward through the laziness, through the hard work, through the difficulty, through all the crap that will come up along the way, but you have no choice but to keep moving forward because the momentum is building on itself just because you designed this situation intentionally so that you can't stop. That's the secret. Take a look around you and think big. I learned this from my friend Naveen Jain, who's also speaking at the conference. Think big and then realize that your thought is not even big enough. When you move on to that not big enough thought that's even bigger and larger, then you're starting to get into this realm of placing yourself into a situation that you have now designed to be difficult, that you have now designed to be impossible to quit. You catching with me here? Are you moving with me? I hope so, because this is an important key to life that I've learned over the past 20 years. When things are too easy, that's when you need to quit. You're doing the wrong thing if it's too easy. If you're comfortable, if you're feeling good about yourself all around, you're in the wrong spot. It's too easy to quit when everything is going good. It's hard to quit. This is counterintuitive. It's really difficult to quit when things are super hard. If they're somewhere in the middle or they're too easy, it's super easy to quit. But if you make it so hard, if you design that situation so it is just so freaking tough that it's impossible to stop, you are going to keep moving forward. And you will be surprised with yourself because you will be able to tell 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, looking back, it's like, how did I ever make it through that? Well, it's because you designed that situation to make it impossible not to make it through. It's counterintuitive. I know, I get it. But this is what does it for me. I intentionally design circumstances and place myself into situations, into visions, into journeys that are impossible to quit. That's the secret sauce. So I would think that, most people take a look at me and they think, wow, I've actually had this said about me before because I moved on. It was a church that I was in, and I had moved on to help launch another church. And the person that took over from me was trying to deal with just a stressful situation, and everyone was feeling the energy because I still kept in contact with the leadership of that place. And they were explaining to me, just telling me the story and laughing. Like, you got to remember, they're used to working with Rick. Rick, the walls could literally be crumbling down around him. And he's like, hey, it's cool. Let's just keep moving. Let's just keep going forward. But did you hear that? The walls could be crumbling down around me. Yes, because I intentionally put myself in that situation where they would crumble down around me so that I could keep moving forward, so that it is impossible. Think about yourself in a life-threatening scenario. Do you just give up trying to save your own life? No. You fight with everything that you have and you keep moving forward. Why? Because you don't have a choice. You have no choice. If you want to survive, if you want to live another day, take another breath on this earth, you keep going. That's what you have to do in business. That's what you have to do in your career, is make things difficult for yourself to where you have no option but to blow the roof off that place and just skyrocket and launch and blow past any expectations you had before, because you are just going to exceed everything that you thought you could ever possibly do and learn things about yourself you never knew, capabilities you thought you never had, because you placed yourself in this situation that was what everyone else would call too difficult or too much risk. Let's talk about risk. Oh my gosh, risk. If you don't risk anything, you will gain nothing. If you don't risk anything, you will gain nothing. Write that crap down. Play that back 18 times, because that is huge. It's monumental for your success to understand that there must be an element of risk. And you know the old saying, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. Whatever, maybe, because some risks are just stupid. You know, what I talk about saving your life and everything. You know, are you really going to go onto something, onto a bridge, a rickety bridge that you know will just collapse underneath you? That's stupid. That's really stupid. I'm not saying put yourself into situations where you know that they are just, there's no chance of survival. There's no possible way that you can get out of that. That's not what I'm saying in any of this. But what I am saying is put yourself in a scenario to where there is a chance that you will win. And if there's 99,999 ways that you will fail, this is the true test of an entrepreneur. If there's 99,999 possibilities that you will fail out of 100,000, you just look for that one where you could actually make it through. Those are the scenarios that you have to put yourself in. If you're thinking, oh, I did great this year, you know, I made $500,000 in revenue. That's great. You know, I netted $100K. I can make a good living on $100K for my family. Cool. You know what? If that's all you want, guess what? You're lazy. You are lazy. You're making it too easy for yourself. You've got to keep going on. Put yourself and design yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to keep moving forward, to risk things, to make it so hard for you that you lose sleep. If you're not losing sleep on a regular basis as an entrepreneur, it's too easy. Do I get healthy sleep? Yeah, I get healthy sleep. But there's several nights a week, maybe 1 or 2 nights a week, that I lay awake because my mind just keeps going on how to strategize and how to keep moving forward, because I know there's always a way. When the situation is tough, I know that I'm going to make it through, because I've designed the situation to be too hard for me, in a sense, to where it has to pull me forward and things just have to happen to where there is no option but to actually do it. I hope you're tracking with me on this. I know that you are. I hope some of you are like, man, maybe I shouldn't do this entrepreneur thing. You know what? You're right. You shouldn't. If you're not making it tough for yourself, you think that it's always going to be easy, or you're going to get to a point to where you can just stop and smell the roses and all that. I'm going to be doing this until the day that I die. It's in me because I need to serve other people. Remember how I talked about at the beginning that that's one of the things that keeps me going, and why I don't quit is because I can see the transformation ahead of time. There's a lot with visualization with this too, to where I can see the end result and I think of what that would be and how that will impact the lives of the people that I'm serving with whatever it is that I'm doing with this difficult situation that I've designed for myself, so that they will be better people and be able to transform and create their own scenarios to where they have no choice but to blow up their expectations in a good way and see themselves fly and launch and go wherever they want to go and beyond, because they put themselves in that difficult situation. That's the transformation that I look for. And I lead by example when it comes to that. So if you're thinking, man, that's too tough, I just wanted to, fine, then do that. Freaking quit. Go for it. Stop right now, because if you're not going to make it tough for yourself, you're thinking at some point in time, there is in this entrepreneurial journey a moment where you can stop and take a breath and just settle there for the time being, or just settle there forever, you're doing the wrong thing. Entrepreneurialism is by design something that should continue to move forward. If you look it up in the dictionary, it talks about someone who takes an element of risk. If there is no amount of risk, you are not an entrepreneur. That's the straight truth. If you do not risk it, if you do not risk anything, you are not an entrepreneur. You could be a business owner. You could even be an entrepreneur while working for somebody else. Did you know that? Because you could help blaze the path for that company and make that owner as much money as possible, because that's your job. When you're working for somebody else, it is your job to make as much money as possible for that owner. And that's cool. That's not settling either. If you're a salesperson, if you're an operations manager, a COO, whatever, that's not settling, because you're continuing to place yourself in situations that are difficult. And you know what? Your owner's going to notice that too. Your boss is going to notice that, how you continuously drive things forward because you are placing yourself in difficult situations and you are taking risks. If you're working for somebody else, that risk could be putting your job on the line. Say, hey, you know what? I got this idea. And they're like, I don't know, man. Maybe it won't work. That could be the owner. Maybe it's not going to work how you're saying it's going to work. And you're like, you know what? It doesn't matter, because I know that this is what the end result is and I'm going after it, and there's no possible way that I can quit because it's too hard to get there to quit. And if they have enough faith and trust in you to say, well, fine, go for it. Would you put your job on the line for this? Your answer should be a resounding, yes, I will. There's your risk. If you risk nothing, you gain nothing. I love this. I hope you're listening today. I know you are. I don't know why I even said that, because maybe some of you tuned out already. Maybe some quit halfway through this episode, and that's fine. Frickin' quitters. Because this is too hard. It's me putting a mirror in front of yourself. You know what? I do that crap every day. I look at myself and be like, dude, you should quit today. Like, you ever seen that photo, with like the devil and Jesus on different shoulders or whatever, that analogy? It's like I got two personalities. It's like, Rick, you should quit today, man. This is too hard. And on the other side, it's like, no way. This is not happening because I know what's going to go on. And that dude is just kicked off because why? He can't hold on because the situation is too difficult. I am shaken up so much by the situation I put myself in that dude can't hang around. Impossible. But he creeps up every now and then, like, dude, you should quit. You should quit. You should quit. You should quit. You know what? I'm talking to you. Maybe you should quit. Because if you're not going to put risk into it, if you're not going to design a situation that's tough, that's difficult, you should quit. If you want to be really successful, if you want to be just insanely awesome in what you're doing and leading the way in your industry, leading the way in your company, leading the way in whatever team you might manage, or leading the way in the business that you work for somebody else in, make it hard. Make it tough. Make it difficult to where that situation continuously pulls you forward. I don't know. We always do the one thing on this show, and there's so much that I feel that I've given you today because I've opened up my soul to you, given you a little insight into what goes on in my head every day. It's kind of a freaking circus in there sometimes. Just know, you know what? DM me or whatever. If you have some questions, be like, Rick, I'm going through this. I need some help. That's cool. Hit me up. I respond to those things. Just remember this. Here's your one thing, because you should be able to pull about 17 or 18 one things out of this episode today. The one thing that I'm going to give you, because I always try to help you out, is that if it's too easy, you should quit. Remember that. If it's too easy, you should quit. That means find something else that's hard. Find something else that's difficult, and that's how you're going to grow. See ya.